Hi, I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We are AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we are watching Rezero, Season 2, Episode 14. Last episode, Otto came in like a superhero and punched Subaru.
And it's everything that you would have ever hoped and dreamed.
Don't put on a fake act in front of your friends.
Yeah.
You can lean on them, you can trust them, and I'm excited to see what benefit will have come out of this.
Honestly, we should have been waiting for this moment since the beginning of season 1. We should have been waiting on this moment that Subaru would see the importance in sharing his kind of what he's been bound with others, even if he can't literally say what it is that is this return by death. He can at least share some of the burden with others, and now we're gonna actually see that happening.
It's exciting. It's also
been a long time coming.
A little bit nervous because it's just like unknown territory, and typically with unknown territory there might be a little bit of I was gonna say reluctance, but more like bloody, twisted failure. Failure.
I mean, he's not perfected. I think that was a word that Roswell used.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that this Otto friendship, magical girl energy that's gonna happen here of friendship can do wonders and defeat every evil in the world. I'm hoping that is actually the case, and we won't see any having to die and start over again. And because Subaru needs to love himself a little bit more and not just rush off into the return by death so often.
I'm just thinking of Otto having like a magical girl transformation now. All right, you ready?
As soon as I said it, that's what I was thinking about, yeah.
Sweet. Ooh. That punch echoed through the lands.
If you get punched in the woods and no one's there to hear it, do you still get punched in the woods? Wasting time.
Frantically flailing around.
Love a headbutt.
Oh my god!
Lost your temper.
Otto's a
Didn't look
genius.
at your footing.
Pathetic. Oh my god, Otto. I have chills.
Got me in the tear ducts. Okay. You asked the wrong person.
Oh my god.
That's the look of defeat. You're right.
I need a friend like Otto in my life. I need an Otto.
You have time to overcomplicate.
Then just spit it all out. Oh my god.
Say it all and then at the end tell me to believe you.
What an
Beautiful.
opening! Do you hear the score?
Otto was like waiting behind a tree. Two different things.
Too arrogant. Oh!
Reaching out his hand to someone. This was about forgiveness.
Oh my god. So many good lines already!
Is that arrogance?
必要だと取り込み、未来のための礎に加えると。分かっているかい？何を？それが一体どれほど
Oh!
答えなのかという。
Oh yeah. Smile. Yes! Oh!
お前の敵は最強のカードになった。まだ不足があるかよ。聖域は雪に埋もれ、屋敷は血の惨状に沈む。ああ、吠え面かかせがいがあるってもんだな。公認の私のために何かしておくのも悪くない。そりゃ話に乗ってくると取っていいんだな。
Groundwork for the next me.
そう決まれば行動開始させてもらうぜ。
The greedy ones have the best smiles.
聖域の雪も屋敷への襲撃も3日後だ。せいぜい
3
検討
days.
し惨敗してほしい。
Fail miserably.
ロズワール、調子が狂うからまた運命に翻弄されるピエロ同士。
As two clowns at the mercy of Oh my
He's
god!
like putting them together!
Whoa, what is that? Straight bet.
エミリア様に期待しているの。エミリア様はつまずく理由に気づけずにいるのよ。それがわからなければ繰り返すだけね。
Thanks,
もう本の
Ram.
記述とずれてるんだ。アドバイスしてくれるなんて。あいつも俺のこと好きなの？
まだ言ってんですかそれ。本人に聞かれたらすごい怒られますよ。それで肝心の辺境泊とは？
賭けは成立したぜ。
まあ辺境泊は負けたご経験がなさそうですから。
I wonder if the bet was Otto's idea.
そしてこ
I
の
had no
後
doubt he would agree.
ガーフィールだな。
Let's just go have a boys' trip, you
その
know?
前に一つ確かめてからでもいいか。
僕は僕で打ち合わせ通り。
Oh my god, this makes me so
エ
happy.
ミリア様のことは
こればっかりはお前の手も借りれない。
That's one thing. Oh, he gotta do it himself.
My own help.
俺はまだエミリアの傷に触れてもない。結局
Get to the root of it.
ではエミリア様の傷に触れる覚悟はできたので。
触っていいかって聞く覚悟はな。どれにしてもお前も分の悪い賭けに乗るもんだ。
賞賛度外視で勝ち目のない方に乗っかるのはこれが初めてです。
Oh, what a great shot. The composition's amazing. This episode is everything
I
to
wish we
me.
could have heard all of those nuts that he spit out at him.
We know them all.
リュウズさん。
今の発言すでにわしのことは相当詳しく
This is such a good episode.
ロズボウの待ち人はスーボウだったというわけじゃない。
ああ、ごめん。その展開はボツになったんだ。
は、それこそ使徒の権限で協力させたらどうじゃ。
指揮権頼りにはしたくない。
Oh,
俺はリュウ
I
ズ
want
さ
to
んと
rely on that kind of authority.
わしが聖域の解放に反対。
もしかして反対してないの？あれ？そんなバカな。あの時はどうして？
じゃがその疑いがすっとんきょうとも言い切れん。スーボウはガーボウをどう思っておる？
それが済んだ後、仲良くできるかできないかは終わってみないとわかんねえな。その判断のために
She has care for
あいつの
Gar.
ことをもっと知りたいところなんだが。
Oh,
年寄りをだまくらかすのがうまい。
Deceiving the elderly.
わしのことは魔女様に聞いたのじゃろ。
不老不死実験のこととか、リュウズさんたちがその成功例ってのは。
oh my god.
監督者としての役割を負っておる。
Would liberating it
変わる
free
から
her from that supervision role?
俺の名前は夏木スバル。リュウズさん、あんたの名前は？
Different last name?
わしの名はリューズ・アルマ。
Arma.
最初の複製体4人のうち
So
の
all the
一人。
first copies gave themselves names.
わしはリューズで。
Mm-hmm.
So are some of the first copies for the liberating and some aren't?
最初からリュウズさんに隠すつもりはなかったんだな。そうか、精霊と同じで。だから交代制で役目を果たしてきたのか。けど、納得してんのか。
スーボウはいい子じゃな。ただし、リューズ・シーマ。最初の4人から欠けた1人。
Exception.
そ
I
のも
don't
のだ
like
けは
that.
例外じゃ。
リュウズシーマ。
口外はせん。リューズ・シーマの名にかけて誓おう。お
Uh,
よそ10年前。
Oh,
wait, that was when he died.
Yeah.
監督者の役割を外れ
Removed from the
他の
role.
複製体と同じく森に
ah.
創造主である魔女との制約に
Violated the contract with the witch who created us by entering the graveyard.
を破り
To bring back.
Oh.
戻らなかった ガーボーを連れ戻しにな。だがガーボーはわしらにない記憶を共有するシーマと会っていても不思議はない。
リュウズさんたちにない記憶。
スーボーはガーボーの家族のことは知っておる。
Not enough.
いや、あの子が見たのはおそらくガーボーとフーを二人を残してここを去った母親との別れの時間じゃよ。
Oh.
愚かで哀れなガーフィールは外の世界を恐れている。
Does he just assume that that's what his sister did too?
聖域の解放を拒むのは自分を捨てて外を選んだ母親への負の感情が原因なのか。
あの子は自分のことをガーフィール・ティンゼルと名乗る。あの子の母親の家名じゃ。
So he wouldn't refer to himself with that name
忘
if...
れないために名乗っていると思っておる。
Yeah, if he had bitterness and hatred, he
それが
wouldn't.
怒りだったのか悲しみじゃったのか知っておるのはあの子とシーマだけなんじゃろうな。
So we
What?
need to get Ryuzu Shima to talk to us.
スバル、
どうしたのエミリアタン。お尻が汚れるよ。
そうではなくてごめん。
Seeing her with that over her head.
Right?
I...
Oh my god. They're playing with us.
Mhm.
今から夜まで寝る宣言だなんてエミリアタン怠惰です。
Slothful. Oh my god.
その言い方なんだかすごく変な気分。
Yeah.
スバルの意地悪。
エミリア、君が試練で何を見たのか俺に話してくれる気はあるか。
Oh man.
でも話してくれれば一緒に悩める。
I love the word choice.
Give me the right
Oh
to
my
fight the
god.
same enemies.
Yes?
Yes.
私が見た過去は多分私が眠る前の記
A
憶だと
memory before I went to sleep.
私がずっと氷の中にいたこと、スバルに話したことなかったよね。ずっと長い間氷の中で眠り続けてたんだって。
Similar to Ryuzu.
エミリアの家族は
森に私の家族はいなかったの。でもお母さんみたいな人はいて。
It was like a mother.
お母さん？
落ち着いてゆっくりでいい。みんなどうなったんだ。
私と同じで氷の
As
中
we
で
saw.
パックと一緒に待ってて、でもそんな日は来なくて。
I'm glad this is being communicated to Subaru.
ロスワールが約束してくれたの。
あなたが王座を得ることができたならこの森
Yo!
軽蔑する？他の候補者の人たちはみんな立派な目標
She
とか
just wants to free all of
Holy
them. She just
shit.
wants the chance.
私の理由はすごく個人的で。
それが君が言ってた自分勝手な理由。
Yes.
大切な人たちを助けたいって。
Love the
Save the
composition.
people you care about. Like, what's wrong with that?
コーク、ありがとう。
Not seeing her eyes.
Sleeping? She might have fallen asleep.
Yeah.
エミリア
I need this episode to keep going, but I don't feel like I deserve it.
思い出せないエミリアの記憶。そこに試練を超える手がかりがある。エミリアが思い出せなくても知ってるやつに聞けば。
Puck.
But how do we get in contact with him?
ごめんなエミリア。ここまでやらなくてもいいだろうが。
No shot!
愛情って重そうだし
Your love seems like the needy type.
のは怖いな。
それとエミリアタンが悲しんでるぞ。家族兼ペット。
He's been there that whole time, probably hearing her call for him.
Didn't exactly run off.
This has probably hurt so much for him.
僕は嬉しいよ。
This is the craziest episode. What the fuck?
That was her as a kid.
Was who called out to her, Puck or her mom?
また怖い夢を見たのかい？
Did Subaru need to reach out?
どこに行ってたの？心配したんだから。もう勝手
Or
に
maybe
いなくなっ
Puck
てしま
needed to feel like she was ready.
パック？ちょっと体が小さいかな。思ったより限界が早そうだね。意識して契約を破ろうとするんだから手の株を奪われても仕方ないのかな。
契約を破る？
これまでもずっとリアのそばにいた役の個人的な事情とリア自身の問題だけど、これからは。
ちょっと待って。
What the?
大変よ。
needed to, like, have Subaru be ready to be the one by her side?
本当はちゃんと説明してあげたいのに時間がないに君を大事に思っている子に任せるよ。
言ってるの？そんな人なんて。
リアの間の契約を破棄する。本当にごめんね。僕の蓋が外れる
The
よ。
seal, of
on
your
the
memories.
Puck was waiting for Subaru to be ready to, like,
Be there
to
for
be
her.
there.
なるかもしれない。
You might want to cry.
エミリア、
To score.
あなたのこと
The memories.
すごく愛してる。
それでいいんだよ。リア、愛で一番愛してる。
Oh. Oh, I was so scared it was gonna end.
エミリア、大丈夫か？
には大丈夫になってるって思いたいの。
とにかく気に病みすぎないこと。大した手じゃねえけど、何でも貸すよ。エミリア。
握ってて、朝までそうしたらきっと私はごめんね。お願い。
こんなことでいいならお安いご用だよ。明日になればだ。俺は信じてるよ。
It's like a row of dominoes. Hello?
ごめんなさい。優しい嘘をついたみんなを嫌いにならないで。あなたのことすごく愛してる。
Told you that. Why?
俺と中川様の嘘つき、
Fortuna.
パックの嘘つき、スバルの嘘つき。
エミリア様がどこへ行ったか知らない？
何？
行方をくらまされたのよ。今手分けして探しているところ。
わかった。俺様も心当たりを探れ。起きてるか？お姫様探して誰か来る。ババア！ババア！
There are two mugs there.
Different cups.
まさかあいつら。
期待に添えなくて申し訳ありません。
Auto!
うちの頼みですんでね。
Oh my god.
承知の上で。
But that's dangerous for him!
話し合いにするつもりだったんですよ。リュウズ、いえ、シーマさんに同席していただいて、エミリア様のことは本当に予想外だったんですよ。すでにあれこれ悪巧みしてしまった後だったので、宴の主催者が不在の間、代役などはいかがでしょう。
ああ、よかった。やっと見つけた。
スバル。
He's been looking everywhere.
じゃあ話をしようか。エミリアタン。
God, he fucking learned it from Auto! And then he's utilizing it! That's called growth.
Okay, that was ReZero, Season 2, Episode 14. That was one of the best episodes of the season. That was
feels like
insane.
That feels like a season, like we're getting to a season finale or something, but it's episode 14.
Yeah. I feel like the person who either the author or the person translating or whoever is responsible for the text, the dialogue, the word choice, this episode
The
deserves
translation.
an award. This was phenomenal. It not even the translation.
Yeah,
it
it's
has to be
the original
yeah,
content.
because of just because of how much it meant of what was said and how much logic and thought and preparation went behind it in terms of building the story up to this degree. And also, oh my god, what the reception and result is from Subaru making this choice. I was trying to say it in the episode, but it really is like a domino. And I think that the absolute, like, coming out of last episode too, the talent that it must take to be able to write a story such as this with so many otherworldly factors in it that that they manage to breach through all of that with actual lessons and things that I think are really that pertain to real life and real human nature and what Subaru is actually doing. Holy shit. I love Otto. That's never been a secret. Otto, this episode, was like Shikamaru in Naruto Shippuden. Otto had so many amazing lines. Like, I was just trying to write down as much as I could, and I can barely read what I tried to write down. But, like, alluding to the fact that if Subaru had the time to overcomplicate all of this shit in his head, then he has time to be able to say it to Otto. Like, say it all in the end.
And then
tell me to believe you. Oh my god.
Yeah, I also wrote down, if you have time to overcomplicate.
It's brilliant. It's so good. Oh.
I feel like after this episode, I feel like something that has kind of hit me in more of an emotional, more like personal, like how a show is affecting you personally and what you're getting out of it, is this idea of, obviously this episode is very heavy about kind of not isolating yourself anymore and realizing that there are people there that will share burdens with you and for you, and that you will benefit from opening up to them, but then also they will benefit from being able to speak to you as well. But how would you see that and understand that if you're a person that devalues yourself so much? You would view the words that you would spit out, the knots you would spit out, as a bother or a burden to the person's ears that would be hearing it and their time that they'd be giving you. But you'd also feel unworthy to be hearing how that other person that you care about feels and their deepest thoughts and desires and feelings and hardships. You would feel like you are unworthy of actually listening to that, helping them with it, giving them any solace. And I feel like I can, just on an emotional level, that idea of isolating yourself and I'm going to do things by myself, and you don't even think about the fact that the other people that you care about would feel isolated too because of you isolating yourself, because you devalue yourself so much that you wouldn't feel like the effect of you not reaching out to them would have any effect on them because you're so insignificant in your mind. And emotionally, that is really hitting me. Like,
you are so right. And rather than the fact of the matter being, if you do it, it's nothing but a net positive.
You're leaving them lonely.
But if you do communicate and do rely on people,
yeah, exactly.
It's only a net positive. And I think that maybe a lot of things that I've watched or things that I can recall have come at and attempted to teach and show the lesson of sharing burdens and sharing struggles with other people. But I don't think anything has done it with as clear of a way of conveying what it actually benefits and what it actually does for you than this. I legitimately think, I feel like that it's giving me a different perspective than I've ever really seen played out in front of me.
Right,
It's
like I honestly haven't seen a character who thinks that way until recently, with a character that I would say had more like social anxiety, like Bocchi the Rock, of that their time and their words would be a burden to someone else and that they are undeserving of, like, just the self-deprecation factor. I haven't seen that a lot in characters.
So that leads me to like why I think it's so good and perfect, is because most of the time, I think to the disservice of the lesson, when the rely on your friends is being pushed forward as the theme, it's typically coming from a protagonist who is teaching his friends that lesson, right, or reinforcing that behavior.
Or there's a reason why like an actual safety reason that the protagonist doesn't want his friends involved. Like, I can go My Hero Academia with that idea, that you have this protagonist that is the special one. The one that they're the protagonist, they have the special powers, they have the reason in the story that they are significant, and they are trying to protect their friends, and they don't want their friends to die. And that's different than on the more interpersonal relationship side of I am unworthy, or I don't love myself, therefore I think that I would be a burden to you if I even thought of you as a friend, because why you wouldn't even think of me as your friend, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like
that I'm so used to that, like, more noble, like, quote unquote, like, I'm trying to protect, but not the more realistic.
I
would
think
say,
that
which is this.
for me, it's like typically when I see that and hear that, it's coming from a protagonist who believes that and is speaking that belief onto the people around him, whether through action or through words. But having the main character be the person who needs to come to that realization and grow allows for a writer who knows what they're talking about and has been through some shit themselves to enforce and to put forward growth that they've experienced and what that truly means and what comes out of it. Like you can tell someone to not feel sad anymore and you should just be happy, but if that person is telling you why they're sad and you've been through that sad, you're able potentially to offer them advice that's more specific and personal and thus helping them get over this. And I'm not going to lie to you. I think that after last episode of ReZero, I don't know how apparent it was on the other side of things, but it really hit me and resonated with me on a very personal level. And I was definitely, just after leaving watching the episode, I was thinking about that episode for probably the rest of the week at least. And I think that like this is just a continuation of that, but like I feel like a little kid being taught like genuine, I'm only saying little kid because that like it's the only other like experience that I have when I first learned like very simple lessons, like be nice to people, don't hurt people, you know, like all these broad like lessons. This is like hitting me on like I don't know what the demo is for this show, but it feels like adult lessons being taught to me.
I hope that I am able to like articulate what I'm thinking about right now in terms of other times that I've seen someone isolate themselves from their friends or people that might be there. There is an acknowledgement, at least that character or that lesson is already known to the audience of, but your friends are going to be there and they should help you and they can help you. But the protagonist makes an active choice with that knowledge to contradict it because of saving their lives is greater to them than you know that. But it's always comes from a place of that life lesson is already out there and aware to everyone and aware to the protagonist, but they're still making the choice nonetheless. Here it's so much more realistic because what it is we have a mind that is so overcomplicating of things that they are not even aware of something that, and it therefore the audience not even aware of something that is just so, like you said, childlike anime lesson that is lean on your friends. It's magical girl shit. Like it's, you know, it's so there in our faces with like other shows that I've watched, especially when I was younger and a kid, that was like, you gotta lean on your friends. You can tell them anything. Don't like let what's in your heart, you know, just be locked up in there. That's not healthy. Like that lesson has been told to us so many times, but what they did here was so realistic because what it did is like adulthood fucking complicated shit. Like that's what it feels like, is all of the anxieties, all of the self-deprecation, all of the realistic gross stuff that happens in our minds, and specifically Subaru's mind, overcomplicating. Therefore, when you overcomplicate, you miss out on the fucking simple things that are right in front of you, like the fact that there are people literally reaching out their hand.
I thought that you're right, and I thought that they did such a like, they not only showed it through dialogue exactly what it was, but they used something that I think is real to convey it as well, which is like Subaru's like losing his footing. He's not like, because of how a word that they use that I think is perfect, nodded Subaru's head is right now. Like he's like doing his basic cognition and awareness of what's in front of him a disservice and detriment because of how much he is trying to deal with internally by himself.
Therefore, all he can move on is the stronger emotions.
Yeah.
Like, when you feel an emotion of, at least for me, like when I feel an emotion like anger or sadness, those emotions are so strong and so powerful, and that they become so prominent and kind of overtaking of everything else, and because they're so uncomfortable of feelings. And then you kind of, when you feel like you lose your temper or something, like it's, Subaru has all this stuff in his head and it's so complicated that those very basic but very strong and potent emotions are able to just kind of dictate whatever is happening. But there's no strategy involved. There's no actual, cognitive thinking that's going on where he's like also paying attention to what his feet are doing. He's just like moving with this emotion. It's immediately making him want to like punch Otto back.
If you are at this point in the discussion and have seen this show before, like this is not your first time watching it,
not your first rodeo,
I genuinely would love to know, and once we're done would love to read and really know what this is like on a rewatch. Like, part of me, like, we've
like
seen
meeting Otto originally.
No, like all this? Not even that though. Like, we've seen shows that have big mysteries that are solved by the end, and I've wondered what that might be like on a rewatch. But this is different. Like, I like, it's like psychologically you'd be able to see signs, I would imagine, potentially. Like, can you see the signs of like these problems starting and growing, and the severity of how knotted Subaru's mind's getting throughout the beginning of season 2, and like how, like, the early signs of what this would be? It would be so fascinating to me, I'd imagine.
When we started ReZero, whether it was the first or the second episode, Subaru to himself is like, oh my god, I'm in a new world. I wonder if I have superpowers, because like this is so main character of me. I have to have superpowers now if I've been like isekai'd into this new world. But he doesn't have superpowers. But he has this ability of return by death. And it's like, what did I view this show was going to be? Did I view that it was primarily going to be more of this action fantasy / possible romance of this protagonist just trying so hard to save the girl? And then political of her being a candidate and different things like that. Is that what I viewed this as? When in reality, he's the protagonist not because he's the person narratively that's moving around in the world, but there's so much more of a focus on like he's the protagonist and he's important because the narrative in the show is highlighting the inside workings of his brain and the trauma he's going through and how he as a person individually processes that and internalizes it, and how then that affects his actions in the world and dealing with saving someone, but also like saving everyone else. And how does he utilize and feel about this ability of having to die but then getting to be reborn? The focus, like, what did I think the focus was going to be when we first started? I don't think I thought that it was going to be on the protagonist's mindset. I think I just thought it was more just action, a story being told, not like an actual more psychological look into what is happening in this person's brain through all this trauma as like one of the main focuses of the narrative.
It probably is subjective to me, but things that touch on that are, in my opinion, harder to write, harder to find an audience for, and when you manage to do it, it is going to excel the work and say that it's one of the best, like, in its genre, if you're capable of doing that successfully.
And it's taking time too. They're not making any of these big moments of clarity happen one after another or be so grand that it fixes everything. What's been happening is this slow working, okay, let's peel back a layer. Okay, we came to this conclusion, which is a healthy mindset, and it definitely helps us out. Like our conversation with Rem, that was peeling back a layer. That was helping in some regard. That was healthy. That was moving forward. But it wasn't like the last hurdle. It wasn't like all of the work that needed to be done.
Is that not analogous to life?
Step. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's exactly what's been happening, which makes the pacing better. That it shows a more realistic side of like the protagonist isn't going to immediately go through one hardship and then finally unlock all of the secrets to life.
Yeah.
And being a healthy individual. Like, that's not how it would work. He's learning little lessons, and then he's applying those little lessons, and they're helping him get closer to the next little lesson that he's going to learn.
Yeah. Ryuza Arma, Ryuza Bilma, Ryuza Shima. One of the four would always be cycling, but Ryuza Shima went
rogue.
And
but seemingly for a good
sake,
reason.
Yeah.
Caused a problem
10 years ago. Broke contract by going into the graveyard for young Gar, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what that looks like or looked like. I like there were so many great moments this episode, but so many like I guess like points of okay, this is where we are. These are the facts that we know that I just want to go over to make sure that I'm understanding everything correctly and like comprehended everything well. Garfiel Tinzel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Garfiel Tinzel.
Mm-hmm.
That was his mom's name, right?
Yeah, mom's maiden name.
And the idea of why that is being utilized is something that only Garf or Shima, right, could truly, have the answer to. Garf is a really interesting character, and I don't think that, like, the complexities of him, I think, were a little bit lost on me with how showy he was and, like, flashy he was on the entrance. I think he's supposed
to be, what's it called when someone is, like, put in as, like, a red herring? Someone who's similar to the protagonist for their unhealthy habits and or traits. Like, that's what he is, and I think there might be a word. He's a plant, for sure. Like, he's specific. His personality is specific. I think even in the beginning of this conversation with Otto, bringing up, Subaru, you finally lost your temper, and that he was moving off of these, like, big emotions. When we talk with Ryuzu Arma about how Garf might feel, why is he keeping the mother's maiden name, she's like, it could be anger, it could be sadness, I don't know. But, like, what that's doing is reminding me that this is a character who goes very much off of, like, these big feelings that he feels, and that's basically the end of the story with him. Like, it's almost like he won't let himself think any further. Like, he goes with a feeling, and that's the choice that he makes.
I really, really liked Subaru's, like, or I guess more of Otto's, like, observation of how much Subaru trusts Ram. Like, even though that they might be at opposite ends of where they lie. I just want to touch on really everything that I loved, which is a lot this episode. But the entire interaction in Bet with Roswaal was so fucking entertaining.
So good.
And then one of my favorite lines of this entire episode was like a reaffirmation of how Subaru's thinking now, and it was to Ryuza Arma saying that I don't want to rely on that kind of authority in terms of why don't you just command me to do so. Phenomenal. Also, with trying to approach what Amelia's issue is, I adored it being like, with Ram's help, of course, the idea of we need to figure out why she's been struggling. Like, why is the right answer when somebody's struggling with something to do it for them or to figure out what is causing that struggle so that they're able to empower themselves by doing it themselves?
I think that it's really fun with the Roswaal interaction to take something that he said to then apply to that question, where he said he was laying groundwork for the next him. So in this answer to that question, obviously it is better to learn, in Subaru's case, more information that he can apply to properly help people and work this loop out and have it be successful. The more he knows about Amelia here, the more he can actually help her. That's the answer.
I'm so glad that we got, like, I'm glad that the characters in front of us know the information we have about Amelia's past, that was something I was waiting for since we saw the OVA.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my god.
Give me the right. I wrote that down. I really liked that phrasing. Like, I like that better than, like, give me permission to know. Tell me. I like the
give me the right to face the same enemies.
I just really liked the weight that holds.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything, it shows more devotion, I would say, more of a unwavering dedication to being beside you.
Well, it's exactly what Otto did to Subaru.
Yes,
it's like
it feels good.
Unbiased. I don't care in what means I will help. You haven't told me yet.
So how can exactly.
Yeah. And like, let me collaborate with you and be here for you.
Yeah,
It's
tell
like,
me and then tell me at the end to believe you.
Yeah, God, it's so good. I cannot believe we lost Puck. Seemingly, I don't believe it.
He
100%.
was the lock on her memories. It was because of his contract to her that was why she can't remember everything enough to actually complete this trial. And it really harkens back to Puck and Subaru's last conversation before we even got to the sanctuary of being like, you need to be there for her. And that's the truth, is that he was just in that same way that Roswell's waiting for Subaru to be perfected, Puck was waiting for Subaru to be perfected. They are both waiting for Subaru to be exactly what fits their
narrative
agenda.
Their agenda.
And for Puck, that is being what Amelia needs to be by her side.
Do you take the language between Amelia and Puck being like very father-daughter to be at all like derived from the fact that the portion of memories that were being covered up by Puck was directly related to a parental figure in Amelia?
I like the idea. She said that she was raised by figures that weren't necessarily her actual birth parents. So it could be like an adopted father actually, like that was who it was that then was Puck. And Mother Fortuna was the name of the mother, I guess, the mother character. I don't believe she would actually call her real mother Mother Fortuna, so I'm going to guess that's who was raising her.
Oh, okay.
Because she said something along the lines of, like, there was someone who was like a mother to
that
her.
That was prior to the memories being released,
I know,
though.
but she couldn't really remember anything about that person
Just
either.
said that they were motherly.
They were, yes. That there was someone that was like a mother to her. And so just by, it could just be translation, just by calling someone mother name, it sounds more like that's the person that's a mother figure.
That was in talking to Subaru, correct?
That was in when she was saying who lied to her at the very end of the episode.
No, when she first brings up that she had a mother.
That was when she's talking to Subaru, yes.
Yeah.
And then she starts to cry more and then goes to sleep.
What about your family? My family wasn't in the forest. But there was someone who was like a mother to me. What did she say about age too? Because I've written down 6 or 7. I had been sleeping within the ice for a long time. Subaru says, how long? Since I was 6 or 7 years old, maybe. And then the motherly figure was referring to the time in the woods, which it seemed like the Mother Fortuna interaction was happening in or nearby the woods. So yeah, I get you. All the people who told you that kind lie that they wanted to protect you. Please don't hate them. Jesus. And then when Amelia's calling off like the liars, Puck, Fortuna, Subaru, was the lie there that was being referenced Subaru leaving her in the night?
I think that is a fair guess, because she did explicitly ask him to stay until morning, until she woke up, and he obviously wasn't there when she woke up after this dream, so that is fair.
Do you believe Puck is gone forever?
I'm trying to call back exactly what he said. I feel like he said something that would allude to not actually forever.
I love you so much.
Did Puck kind of sound like they had the voice of the mother?
That's why I connected.
I don't want to go father if that's the case.
But that's why I made the connection between there being like a parental figure between Puck and Amelia, and it being covering up those memories. Like, because by covering up those memories, you're almost taking the place of those memories and the person within them, which is a parental figure.
Okay, but if you are... what we see in that action shot is a woman hugging her and basically being like, I love you so much, don't be upset. That kind of energy, because Amelia's like obviously very upset.
Yeah.
There's something there that's almost like trying to protect her from everyone.
Yeah.
And that could go along with the idea of blocking out memories.
Yeah.
That would hurt her in this protection way. But obviously a contract being what is doing so as well.
Obviously, Puck can exist without a contract, right? And but when he says like, when I'm gone, they'll be unveiled, and the idea of him saying when I'm gone is what scares me. You know?
I guess I didn't get from the sadness or the dialogue that he's like, the Puck is like gone,
Mm-hmm.
or that would never interact with Amelia again.
It's just the contract.
It's just the ending of a contract. And because Puck has been trying so hard to end it, they are now so small and have very little energy to like stay in this, I guess, realm.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Amelia, if I were Amelia and my basic parent and support this whole time disappeared, even if I had Subaru like over there, I would be freaking
Devastated.
Freaking out.
Jesus.
Grieving. There would be no end to that. So it makes me think that this is just like I'm breaking the contract with you. That doesn't mean like I won't be back or we won't see each other again, but I'm not going to be like here for you right now. I don't know.
What a fucking episode.
What an episode.
We hear about Puck breaking a contract in the same episode that we hear about Ryuza Shima breaking a contract.
Mm-hmm.
God.
Causing problems.
I'm so excited to watch more of ReZero.
Are you worried about Otto at all being alone with Garf?
No.
I mean, whatever the plan is, I have faith, but we did see Otto be killed by Garf before, so there has to be... And so, in going with the fact that Garf is so led by whatever strong emotions, Shima even says to Garf, like, I shouldn't have, like, told you that the miasma could have been a link to the witch.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't think Subaru has anything to do with the witch in that way. And he's just like, nope, that was the original thought and the original thing, so that's what I'm gonna go with.
Yeah.
Like, very, like, cut and dry like that. And Otto originally wanted Shima to be there for this, but since Amelia ran away, she can't be. And I'm like, Otto, what is this plan?
But the idea of the potential of Shima and Subaru having an interaction and conversation makes me more comfortable within Otto interacting with Garf, because Shima and Garf obviously have a connection, and if that happened, that conversation potentially happened between Subaru and Shima before Garf and Otto meeting.
Is that you assuming that Subaru was the one that had the tea with Shima? Because I think it was Otto.
Gotcha.
If Otto, because Otto brings up already having talked to Shima about wanting to do this with Garf together and have this talk.
Oh, no.
It gives me the thought that...
I'm more saying that because of that conversation over tea, Otto is more well-equipped with information to deal with Garf now than he would have been because of the knowledge that Shima has. But that's why...
I mean, honestly, if Otto was the one that met with Shima, that would show a lot of trust in giving some really big jobs to Otto. Like, real delegation there. Like, that's some big job for him.
But then it wouldn't have explained why Subaru had left Amelia in the night. If Subaru...
That's fair.
Yeah. Alright, that's all I have you.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And we hope to see you next time.